from our last TAP Ottawa cohort from last year we did in Ottawa. So who is on the call? So we have companies, we have associations, we have partners, but we have also our national sponsor who are EDC, BDC, RBC, and Air Canada Cargo. And also, and of course, our partner with the Ottawa Board of Trade with Lynn and Xiaoling. So to get started, I would like to introduce Xiaoling, who will do the welcome remarks, who is the President and CEO of Ottawa Board of Trade. Xiaoling, over to you.
Good. Thank you, Agath, and good morning, everyone. Thank you so much for joining us this morning. I hope everyone can hear me okay. We're just thrilled to be launching the second program with the Trade Accelerator Program. The Ottawa Board of Trade is the primary business association serving the Ottawa business community. And our mission is to create prosperity through advocacy, collaboration, and leadership. And we do that in three main ways. The first is to offer direct supports to help businesses grow. We do that with a variety of education, money-saving programs, as well as opportunities to volunteer and to be involved in the community decision-making. Secondly, to advocate to all levels of government for policies and programs that create a competitive business environment. And then thirdly, to work with local stakeholders to promote Ottawa as a global iconic city and the best place to live, work, and invest. So this program fits so nicely into our mission to help Ottawa-based business scale. This is our second cohort that we're going to be running this fall. The first one was last fall, and it was highly successful. We had 16 Ottawa-based businesses go from zero to export ready. And I know in that last cohort, we had 2 40 under 40 winners and one of our fastest growing companies take part in that program. So we really hope that you will find today's information session informative, that you will be intrigued. There is a lot of opportunity for businesses. We hosted Minister Ng just a couple of weeks ago in a town hall, and she shared with us that there is massive opportunity for businesses to export, that only 12% of Canadian businesses export. So we need to be ambitious with our trade diversification strategy. And she assured us that the Canadian government has trade agreements in place that will support Canadian exporters. So I really want to thank the Toronto Board of Trade and the World Trade Center Toronto for getting us involved with this program, for giving the Ottawa business community an opportunity to learn from many experts in this industry. And on behalf of the Ottawa Board of Trade, I want to say thank you and congratulations to all of you for being here and looking for opportunities to scale your business, particularly during these challenging times. And to let you know that we at the Ottawa Board of Trade, our staff and our volunteers, continue to work hard to advocate for you and be here for you. And so we look forward to stories of your success, because I know that you guys have done a great job of tracking results from the graduates from this program. And I think you'll be sharing a little more information around that. And so we look forward to a lot of Ottawa-based success stories. Thank you, Agath. Thank you, Duan, and enjoy the information session.
Thank you so much, Xiaoling. So first, I will give you an overview of the Trade Accelerator Program with some data, and after I will leave to my colleague Duan to give you a better understanding about the program and the new TAP digital format. So the program is an innovative program that helps small and medium-sized companies plan and prepare for long-term export success. With the current situation that we are all living, there are multiple areas where TAP can help your company to realize your global expansion in order to support you to become better prepared for your future, but also to develop a comprehensive export plan, to have access to resources, contacts, to enter new markets, or to increase your exports. So first, I will give you a little background. So the first cohort was launched in 2015 in Toronto. The main objective was to create a central point of all the available export services, filling the gap existing between them, sharing information between service providers, but also developing export tools to help companies structure and formalize their international expansion. And the launch was made possible across Ontario and Canada, thanks to last year, the funding of FedDev, who gave us the possibility to grow globally. On the next slide, we can see that since its launch, TAP has reached different stages. First, TAP has expanding across Ontario, but also across Canada, giving the program a national scope. Over 950 companies have completed the program since the launch. To give you some data, 70% of the company have entered a new market and 90% of the company declare better prepared to do business internationally. And last, the TAP's positive impact on Canadian businesses led to more than 50 corporate and agency partners to becoming associated with the program. And also, and for sure, we also have our national sponsor, EDC, BDC, RBC, and Air Canada Cargo, who allow us to deploy this program across Canada. So the impact of TAP is demonstrated in 4 key performance areas. The first one is diversity. We know that TAP encourages and support diversity in leadership. So 55% of the company who did the program are either led or owned by women, visible minorities, or first Canadian generation. The second one is the employment. 50% of the company who did the program hire a new staff, exported like a new staff with dedicated to export with an average salary of 68K average salary. That is 30% higher as the average Canadian salary. And it's directly linked to the success of trade and export. The third one is a growth in revenue and export. I will explain you later on the slide after. And the number 4, I will say, is creating international traders. 70% of the company who did the program enter a new market compared to 7% in Canada. So companies who are doing the program will export after. So this slide that I wanted to explain you about the total revenue and export revenue, that we can see that a company who do the program after 2 years completing the program, they increase their revenue, but it's also directly linked to export. So I do have a few examples to share with you today. So we have a company called Core Financial Technologies. Since they graduate, their sales in the US market have increased, accounting roughly like 80% of their current annual revenue. And also I have another example from Bondic company who are both like TAP graduates. They learned during the program that they can apply to government grants. So they did the Can Export. And they grew their export sales from 50 to 95% in 18 months. So we can see that doing export also allow you to grow your total revenue. In the next slide. So we can show you on this slide that after completing the program, you can enter a new market. The market penetration for the TAP graduates show a solid international presence across multiple regions compared to the average Canadian who is focused on the US. So the company who participate to the program will learn also that there is different free trade agreements, opportunities, but also thanks to the market reserves that they can focus to other countries than the US. So also we want to show you that the graduates of the program have reported new expenditure to support EMCs from international trade. So about 56% of the expenditure are on infrastructure, inventory, and warehousing, and 15% are on sales and marketing. And all this expenditure will support all the local economy across Ottawa and all around. And after completing the program, we have this data that 42% of the company secure additional resources with an average amount of 2 million. And most of the financing was sourced from our key partner, who are EDC, RBC, Trade Commissioner, etc. So the company will have all the contacts during the program, but also not about the financing. They will also follow up with the mentors that's gonna read their export plan. And all these partners will keep doing a follow-up with the company after. So you will have a network thanks to the program. So all the data that I show you today is thanks to the survey that the company fill in after the program and during 5 years. So this is the current data that allow us to show you this today. And I will leave my colleague Duan Dumas, who will give you a better idea about the program itself. Duan, over to you.
Thank you so much, Agathe, for that very interesting strategic view of the Trade Accelerator Program. So good morning, everyone. I know I've spoken to some of you, so welcome to the Trade Accelerator Program free info session. So I am Duan Dumas, and I am the Trade Accelerator Program Coordinator. So as Agathe mentioned, the more broader view of what TAP is, let me delve into the different aspects of the whole program itself. So as you see in this slide, you would see that what makes TAP successful is its continuous mentoring. So before the COVID-19 pandemic happened, we were actually doing TAP in person. We finished launching in Ottawa back in 2019 and is now going to bring back TAP in Ottawa this November. So we usually started with a 2-day workshop and then an expert plan day, followed with a one-to-one mentoring session on mentoring day. So as you can see, we continuously provide Canadian SMEs, educate them, help them assess, plan, and strategize, as well as implement their export plan. So the whole output of the Trade Accelerator Program is all Canadian SMEs come up with a really strategic export plan that may be useful for Canadian SMEs, for example, when you're applying for different grants for your financial institutions, but also it serves as like a roadmap for your company itself. So with educating, we started with a 2-day workshop that involved a lot of presentations, case studies. You are able to establish key contacts, get access to targeted experts, and as well as strategic planning. There's also the, what makes TAP successful is that there were a lot of networking sessions and group works and discussion that would encourage peer-to-peer learning as well. And then for the export plan, there were international trade experts in the room who provided individual support and also help you with formalizing your market entry strategy. And lastly, with the mentoring session, we had 30-minute one-on-one sessions. It was more on like similar to a speed dating event where Canadian SMEs had information, would meet with a lot of the international trade experts in the room. We work closely with the corporate sector, so they provide expert plan reviews, provide feedback, as well as a tailored, formal and tailored feedback, as well as relationship building. So in the next slide, sorry, there's a bit of delay. You would actually see the knowledge pipeline of what the Trade Accelerator Program is all about. So these are the 5 buckets. And as you can see, we look into the legal and tech side, sales and marketing, finance, accounting, logistics, and strategy and advisory. As Agathe mentioned, we do have our national sponsors, RBC, BDC, EDC, Air Canada Cargo, as well as work closely with experts in the area. So for instance, for a Canadian SME who is interested in learning more about the legal and tech side, as a tech company, for example, you would like to know once you delve into and enter into a new market, you would like to make sure that you protect your intellectual property rights. Or for example, we had a tech company that joined the cohort, wanted to establish a market in the US, but didn't know how. So there would be presentations related to this. We look into international law as well as IP protection and contractual law. And on the finance and accounting side, We also need to look into the insurance. What would be the debt financing, trade financing that you would need in supporting your business? And for sales and marketing, there would also be, like with the current virtual business environment, we also would look into e-commerce and how to manage foreign distribution, for example, and how do you penetrate into an international market? How do you provide international market research, your primary and sector, and also help you with the different sales and techniques in entering into these new markets. As well as we work with the different experts in logistics. So for a product-based company, you would want to know what are the shipping regulations, warehousing, how do you label your product? If you want to sell it online, or what are the different Incoterms that you need to, and also what are the different customs practices. So these would be explained more during the Trade Accelerator Program sessions. And then lastly, there will be government support. We work closely with different levels of government. For Ottawa, the economic development, the city government, as also the federal government. We work closely with them, as well as the Trade Commissioner Service. So as a Canadian SMEs, what are the different grants that are available? What are the different support that is available for business strategy and planning, as well as the internal processes that are needed. Let me just admit some. So that was what happened before with the Trade Accelerator Program when we were doing it in person. So with the current virtual business environment, we tried to look into how to bring TAP and look into the different successes of the program and now bring it virtually. So this is how the new TAP virtual format would look like. So as you know, we are bringing back TAP this coming November in Ottawa, but this would be done virtually. As you can see, we would be using Zoom as the main conference tool, but this time it would be different because we would be working with Canvas as the e-learning platform. So this would be a different one that we've had previously because it allows participants, presenters, mentors to post information. Before, when we were doing export plan in person, we would usually give companies 3 weeks to work on the plan. But this time, because there would be a series of webcasts all throughout the program, so it would be 5 weeks, 7 days program, and 3 to 4 hours each session. And every week there would be sort of an assignment for these Canadian companies to send each module. Like for example, for this week, we are discussing about law and tax. So you work on this section of your export plan, and then you submit it at the end of the week. But don't worry about it. We do have our international trade experts in the room who could provide you feedback and comments and suggestions on how to improve your plan. And then of course, we still took in a lot of the networking sessions. There would be breakout sessions that will encourage peer-to-peer learning. And we have the trade experts in the room, which could really help you with how to strategize your planning and successfully launch into the new markets. So in the next slide, you would see how the TAP would be structured. So this is how the TAP digital dates have been organized. As you can see, we do have the different weeks. It's week 1 would be talking about the support and advisory resources, strategic planning for export markets. And then week 2 would look into the legal and tax implications. So we would be having international tax experts in the room, lawyers in the room, and Canadian SMEs are encouraged to ask really good questions because they really provide a lot of information for those who are interested in venturing into new markets. And then for international finance, on week 3, there would be a lot of discussions on this. And then also Canadian SMEs have to look into how to build your capacity and supply chain management. And lastly, we end up with the international sales and marketing on week 5. There would be a lot of sales and marketing experts in the room who would teach you how to look into these different topics. And lastly, on December 11, we will have all the companies to submit their export plans, and then in January on the 7th to 14th, there would be the one-to-one mentorship sessions, which will be done online. So what is the different? I know you guys will be asking what are the eligibility criteria for TAP. So of course we look into businesses who have at least 500,000 in annual gross revenue. But we also, this criteria is not set in stone. So as I said, we work closely with a lot of the international trade experts, and also in our online application form, we ask for a lot of different sections. So we look on the export experience of the company, the executive team. We actually look at the stability of the company, the general strength, what are the different types and products you provide, and also the export status. It doesn't need for the company to be exporting. You could actually be not currently exporting, but taking the exploratory steps. You could also be currently exporting, but you wish to diversify your market, or you are motivated to expand into new markets. And of course, we look into the different, the commitment of senior executives. As TAP is very strategic. Exporting is very strategic for the company. We at least ask the company to commit to dedicate 2 senior executives to attend all the TAP working days of the program. And then of course there's continuous communication and the submission of the written export plan. And all the companies should have a value proposition. So the company must have a product or service with a defined competitive advantage. So this is generally the 4 things that we look into, but we encourage all the companies who are currently in the call to reach out to us, reach out to the Ottawa Board of Trade, the World Trade Center, as well as all our associations and sponsors that we work closely. If they do have questions, we're always happy to answer. And then this slide just measures the reason behind the success of the program. So as Agat mentioned, we started in 2015, and after we received federal funding, we've actually been rolling out TAP across different cities in Ontario, but we are also present across Canada. So this is like TAP provides specialized expertise from a broad range of private sector. We work closely with the private and public sector. We provide hands-on, practical, fast-paced program designed for entrepreneurs. We all know that exporting, there are a lot of resources online. So TAP actually helps you navigate all of these. So, and then there's also the written expert plan generated by each TAP company that is vetted by experts. You can use it anywhere when you're reaching out to the Trade Commissioner Service for your funding applications, grant applications, which will be useful. And of course, you're introduced to an extensive business network. We do have a lot of TAP companies that have done business together. So it's actually a big family that you could belong to. And then there's strong government support and financial independence. So these are just some of the reasons behind the success. Agat, do you have anything to add with your experience working with the different companies?
Thank you, Duan. So yes, so TAP is very unique programs that we offer in Canada. It allows all the company to step back and review your long-term vision, but also evaluate your goals, access what you need to improve on, and equip yourself to succeed. So by the end of the program, as Duan mentioned, all the company will leave with a written comprehensive expert plan vetted by all our experts.
Thanks, Agat. And you're right, actually all of the statistics that Agat mentioned and shared earlier, these are all part of the biannual surveys that we get from the TAP companies. So we actually get the real measured results for this. Thank you for that. And then for the next slide, this is just a sample of all the Canadian SMEs that we have worked with. So ever since the federal government funding that we received last year, we started launching it across Ontario. We did have our first Mississauga cohort in 2019, and we just had another one earlier this year. So as you can see, they mentioned that they have been in business for 39 years, but TAP has actually helped them in understanding all the resources available for expanding exports. And then there's another one from the TAP Ottawa company that highly recommends the program. So it was actually helpful for them to kickstart their program and understand all the issues that they need to consider, and avoided all the mistakes. So as you can see, we did have Simcoe County, we launched in London in 2019, and now with the TAP virtual program, we just launched in Toronto, Niagara, and Hamilton.
Thank you, Duan. So now, so we will leave, like we are so lucky to have Rock Networks online with us, and I will leave Joseph to speak about his experience with our last TAP Ottawa cohort that he did last year. Thank you for being here today, and thank you for sharing your testimonial with us. Over to you.
All right, thanks again. How long do we have for this session?
I would say 10 to 15 minutes max.
Okay, yeah, okay. I'll take 20, thanks. No, just kidding. So good morning, everyone. Joining me on the call today is Nadine Mansour. Nadine is our Director of Marketing and Sales Operations at Rock Networks. I'm not sure if that SME quote from the Ottawa cohort was my email response to you or not, Agath, but definitely the theme of those comments I would certainly echo 100%. So for the new cohort, I would start off by saying, make sure that it's not just the CEO that shows up to these sessions, right? So it's a virtual environment, which I'm sure you will find quite interesting. The sandwiches probably won't be as good as they were in the Ottawa November one. But I encourage you to bring a few members from your team. Me personally, I've worked in Silicon Valley, I've worked in India, I've done business in 40 countries around the world, I've traveled many places, and I even learned new things from the program, right? But the biggest benefit for Rock Networks as a team is that actually most of my team had not worked in foreign countries or done business internationally. So they didn't have a view on what exports were all about. And so as part of the preparatory work for the program and then the investment in the program, we actually had myself and 3 members of the team joined in. And eventually it was left to 3 of us. And then our VP of sales didn't make the last session because he's actually located in St. John's, Newfoundland. But it was an eye-opening experience for the members of the team to everything to think about in terms of export. And it's not just Joe's idea like, hey, let's move into the United States market and go ahead and sell lots of stuff, right? And so I'm going to make a few more introductory comments, but then I want to turn the floor over to Nadine. Nadine actually has the work product that we came up with as an outcome of TAP. But I would say the value that you're going to get from the program is, first, it's a structured approach, right? So Duan talked about the various segments. So you'll go through each one of those segments and take the time to kind of strategize and imagine, because it will actually, and debate, right? Because it'll actually open up new avenues for your business. There's lots of new learnings. And for me, there was new learnings as well as refresh of existing learnings. You also get to learn from others. So other companies that, were presenting interesting ideas, and we had, an open forum kind of discussion. But as well, the experts that the TAP program, Agathan team have pulled together, you get, even though they're only short discussions, you get a lot of in-depth learning from IP lawyers, et cetera. So take advantage of that. The new supports from our perspective, I was familiar with the work of EDC, had met with Val and the EDC team in the past. But now we're looking at a program with support from EDC that would allow us to export into Europe with some NATO projects that we're looking at. The other thing I would say is there's untapped potential in some of the government agencies. So the Canadian consulate, let's say you're going into an African country, right? Realize that the Canadian consulate can help you validate the entities that you may or may not be deciding to work with. And so they actually act as a forward agency for you, if you will. And then from a logistics perspective, the presentation that we had was, different types of terms and conditions that you'll see if you're buying stuff from suppliers in China and importing as part of your strategy, and understanding all those trade procedures are pretty important as well. I would say that we started the program with a view that the U.S. was going to be our export market. So the final thing I would say before I turn it over to Nadine is be open to what actually is the first outcome from an export market. So we started on the U.S. We had two strategies. One was expanding our two-way radio business, which is the traditional business that we're in. And the second is our rural broadband business, which is the hyper-growth segment of our business. So we said we'll have two strategies to go into the U.S. market around that. And we've looked at a couple of acquisitions, which would be the beachhead for us expanding into the U.S. on the radio side of the business, because the dealer community, Motorola, et cetera, don't allow you just to set up shop and sell their product. You actually have to buy a company to get into the market. And so we entered into some discussions with a company that didn't yield fruit. I now have an NDA with another company that we're looking to sign to begin discussions with them. But as all that has progressed, COVID happened, and we had an opportunity with a project in NATO. So we're looking to bid on a IT modernization project for the Balkans, which is a project that Cisco, HP, Dell, McAfee, lots of new partnerships that we've established as part of that. And our strategy is to work with a local in-theater firm to actually do installation commissioning type services. So the best of technologies from Canada at a Canadian kind of price point with a local kind of service delivery in Europe. And that project will basically double the revenue of the company if we're successful, right? So that's an opportunity that has opened up, but the TAP program in terms of the EDC angle for us, or Canadian Commercial Corp, which isn't really talked about in the TAP program, but referenced by EDC, will help us from establishing a bid bond as part of the project, pre-shipment financing, which will be very important for us as part of the project. So we look forward to working with Val. And RBC is our bank, and Val and the team at EDC as part of that project, should we be successful in bidding it. And BDC is also our financing partner from an acquisition perspective in the Canadian market. So with that, I'll turn it over to Nadine, and she can talk a little bit about her experience being new to the export game, and she can give you some insight into our work product that Agath and team helped us shape into the final output. So with that, I'll turn it over to Nadine.
Hi guys. If you would have told me at the end of the program where we would end up, I would not have believed it, but they really broke everything down, and Joe covered like everything from legal to marketing to funding to HR, all sorts of components that you wouldn't think of, and then helped us really just build a great plan. And we kind of had a two-tiered or two-tong plan with two different components to it. And they helped us consider everything. I'm just going to show you just high level, just kind of what we ended up with. And as a marketer, I was really happy with, we made it look fantastic in the end. And we now have this plan that is, really solid and backed up by experts throughout the industry that, we can confidently go into and, and get support. So I'm just going to see if I can access the screen share. I think Agath, you may need to unshare your screen. I won't take you through the whole thing. I mean, it is our document, but we're able to finish off with this export plan that really covers every bit of what we needed. It made us evaluate who we are as a company, and get that written down in terms of how, we can see that grow in the new market. The human resource help was amazing. We're a small company. We don't have HR. We didn't know what that would mean. When we start looking into different markets, they really helped us with our SWOT analysis. and our goals that we worked on as a team. I loved working with my team on this, but then I love that we worked in groups as well, because, you know, we may have certain goals and we may think that it is, you know, logical to us. And then, you know, you're working with all these different organizations and all these great entrepreneurs and leaders in our market, and they were able to give us a perspective that, you know, we wouldn't be able to get within our company. You know, and in the end of it, we had, you know, we were challenged on one part, like when we finally finished our document, we were challenged in every area by their industry experts, like our market analysis was challenged. Our marketing strategy was challenged, and we were able to come back, finish the plan, and get, you know, feedback, and then, you know, put it all into this final document with a lot of confidence that we checked off all the boxes. I don't know if there's anything specific, Joe, that you wanted me to go through, but I'm just kind of showing everyone very high level, like, you know, kind of the areas that you may look at now and be like, oh, how are we going to fill this all in? But you really are walked through every step of the way. It was a great program for us to figure out how we were going to, you know, enter the U.S. market.
Yeah, the other thing, just to wrap up, because I think we're at our 10-minute guideline, I would say, you know, you see a lot of detail there, right? And a lot of piece parts, and you think, well, how are we going to have her come up with that, right, from scratch?
Yeah.
Believe me, you can come up with it from scratch, but put in the effort. I would say I never would have sat down with my team and did 3 days of export planning as an entity, because we would have got interrupted by many things. So when you're participating, I would recommend participating fully, because that's the only way that you're going to be successful with, like, the outcome document. And the other thing I would say, you'll end up with things that happen out of the blue. So for example, a couple of months ago, Lynn from Ottawa Board of Trade made a connection with me on LinkedIn, and now that connection and I are connected, and there may be some opportunities for us to move forward. So it could be a gift that keeps on giving. One thing I would say to Agath maybe is to create a LinkedIn community maybe for the Trade Accelerator Program, because I think, like, there's 700 companies or 900 companies, whatever the number is, and I just participated with the 16 in Ottawa. It would be interesting to see all the other companies on the list. So I would suggest that as kind of a marketing program from the TAP program perspective. But it's a fantastic program. Fully commit yourself and your team to participate, and you will come up with a work product that you never imagined was possible.
Thank you so much. For your information, we do have a TAP LinkedIn page, and we are also working on certificates that a company will have on their LinkedIn profile as a certificate for export by doing TAP. And thank you so much for your testimonial. It's always good to hear what the company feels like from the program. And now I will leave over the question part. If you have any questions you want to ask us, feel free. And to register to the program, you just need to go to the Ottawa Board of Trade website, TAP program, and register online. And or if you have any questions, Lynn from the Ottawa Board of Trade or Duan or myself are available to answer. Duan, do you want just to mention about the price? We may have this question, of course.
Oh yes, thanks Agat for that. So the price of to join the Trade Accelerator Program is actually $5,000. That's the total. But as Agat mentioned, we work closely with all levels of government, and we do have our national sponsors, so we could lower the cost to $495. Just talk to Lynn or talk to us, and we would be happy to look into that and help.
And also our national sponsor, EDC, RBC, and BDC are also here to guide you to register to this program. So I don't know if, I know that they are online. If one of the national sponsors want to mention something, feel free to talk. Otherwise, we will leave to the question for the companies. Orlene, do you have any questions you want to know?
I don't have any questions, but we do have a question in the chat from Karen.
It's per company, the price. So as Joseph mentioned, like it's a lot of time commitment to write an export plan. So feel free to invite. So what we ask is 2 per company. the price is 2 per company, so it's 2 senior executive. But you can also bring 1 or 2 more from your company to help you to write the export plan. Any other questions?
This is Amira from EDC. It's not a question, it's more of a comment. And a great job that the Ottawa Board of Trade does with all the partners. And there's a lot of benefit for companies in terms of all the partners that do show up to the program, but there's also a lot of benefit from a lot of potential synergies and learnings from other companies that are also joining the program. So, and I don't know if Joe or Nadim, you have kind of, if you've experienced that, but a lot of the companies come forward and share what they've been up to, how they're planning their export plan. And there's a lot of working together on that. So it's not just your company. So other companies are sharing as well their learnings throughout this experience. So you're also learning of what's happening in the industry.
Yeah, so just to build on Amira's point there, you know, as an example, we kickstarted with everybody doing their value proposition, right? Their 30-second, 60-second elevator pitch, right? So you get to learn, you know, a little bit there. And then as we went throughout, as we were going along, we had to present the aspects of our plan. And originally, as an example, we were looking at radio, next generation 911, and broadband. And it was recommended by the team, you know, radio is your long traditional business, so that makes a logical extension for export. But don't focus on 2 next generation or 2 upside markets. Pick one. So we decided at the end to pick rural broadband and kind of segment it down a little bit. So, you know, you get feedback like that because you're presenting to peers in the industry, and you know, they have their own challenges to deal with. There might be a different business. We had lots of interesting companies in our cohort, and it was a, you know, valuable session. So.
Thank you. So we do have a few questions that came out of the chat. So is it a company from outside Ottawa area? Yes, it can be around Ottawa. Just for information, we want to make this very local. So it's gonna be partners and speakers from Ottawa. We want to make sure that your network is around this area. But if you are based like a little bit outside, you are welcome to be there. And how many interested parties are on this meeting today? So I think we have around 15 companies. And after we do have like, I will leave to Duan. Over to you, Duan.
Sorry, I think we have around 16 plus companies. We had last minute signups for this morning, and the rest are business associations and as well as partners and sponsors of the program.
And so as we want to keep also the cohort very small to have like experts to speak with each company, so we accept between 15 to 20 max company per cohort.
It's Val here from EDC. I really wanted to thank all the partners and Toronto Board of Trade and the Ottawa Board of Trade and as well the sponsors online, just to essentially showcase what we're trying to achieve here. And the info session is really to decipher whether this is something that you would like to stress test at this time. There's always other cohorts that will be happening throughout the year. But again, admittedly, in light of this environment, I think there's a lot to be said in isolating and engaging with other companies in the Ottawa market and troubleshooting where you're seeing some uptick or some challenges. This is really your forum to be able to help make an informed decision about what your next milestones are about going abroad, and leverage the industry partners online, virtually now, in the room to make sure that you can do so in a prudent way. So I really encourage all of you to explore it further. And again, as echoed by our partners, happy to open the lines of conversation to make sure that it's a good fit for you.
Thank you so much, Valerie. So thank you, everyone. So we will send you the presentation by email after if you want to review some data or have more information. We are all the time here to answer. And otherwise, we know that everyone is busy, so we do have a video, so feel free to quit if you need to, you have commitments. So we will finish with a video, and Duan and myself will stay online after this video if you want to have see if you have more questions or you want to speak privately. So thank you everyone for joining us today. I will finish with the video. I don't know, Lynn, if you want to mention anything before everyone is leaving.
Thank you. I'd just like to say thank you to all of our partners who help us put this program together. And for the question regarding if companies from outside of Ottawa can attend, I'd like to encourage companies in markets like Kingston and Cornwall, where they don't necessarily have a board of trade or where they won't necessarily have their own cohorts, to feel free to apply. And I'd really like to make a big thank you to Nadine and Joe from Rock Networks and Nova Communications for joining us today. We're very proud of our members, especially when they excel. And I'm just going to take a moment and point out that Joe was just recognized by the Atlantic Business magazine as one of the top 50 CEOs of the year. So big round of applause for that. We're very proud of you, Joe, and of course to your team for supporting you in that achievement.
Thank you, Lynn.
Oh, you're welcome.
As you know, it doesn't happen without the team. So
exactly.
Individual recognition, but really it's the team that makes that individual recognition possible.
Yeah.
Thank you.
Again, it looks like we had a couple of people putting hands up. David in particular, I noticed, and I think perhaps Chris or Valro had something to say.
Sorry, it was more just clapping. So
oh, okay. Awesome.
Okay, so I will share the video, and we will stay after this video online if you have any question. And thank you everyone for being here today, and we look forward to seeing you on November for launch TAP Digital Cohort in Ottawa.
My name is Rob Paterson. I'm President and CEO of Paterson Composites, and welcome to our shop. Paterson Composites was kind of born out of a passion for high-performance sailboat racing. TAP has been a great resource for us. Before TAP, we exported, but not a lot and not a significant value. Through all that, we learned all the ins and outs of composites manufacturing, all the different techniques, because everybody wants to try to make things lighter, stronger, faster, and that became our kind of mantra here at Paterson Composites. This project came to us as you see it right now. So this is going to be a two-seater electric VTOL, vertical takeoff and landing aircraft. At the end of 2017, we actually moved out of a kind of 4,200 square foot facility, and now we're sitting in a 29,000 square foot shop. I think if it wasn't for TAP, we probably wouldn't be sitting in this new shop and being able to tackle much larger projects like the drone behind us. I think most businesses will benefit from exporting, and I've actually had a couple of businesses call me up and ask me if we thought the program was was a good use of time, and I said definitely. I'd recommend every small business kind of try to get in with the TAP program. It definitely gives you a better advantage in the international marketplace.
Thank you, everyone.
Is there a deadline to register for November?
Yes, so the deadline will be 1 week before. So, Lynn, I sent you
October 27.
So yeah, October 27.
Great. Thank you guys so much. Have a great day.
Thank you. Thank you so much.
Thanks so much.
Thank you, everyone.
Thanks, everybody.
Someone is trying to join.
I know.
Joining at the end.
I don't know if there is any questions that we can answer.
Yeah.
Agath, I sent you a note. I found a TAP Vancouver on LinkedIn, but not.
Oh, okay. Yeah.
I will.
Yeah.
Sorry.
Duane will forward to you the link to register.
Okay.
So
Yeah.
it's a TAP link for all TAP graduates across Canada. And also we accept all our partners. So EDC, RBC, all our partners are connected to this LinkedIn page. So if you have any question also, like you want information or you want to share any information, feel free to post anything. And we also like to post news from our TAP graduates. So it's a great communication for everyone.
Okay, thank you. All right, thanks for setting up the session. Good luck with the new cohort. I'm sure the virtual version will be interesting for all of you. So good luck with that.
And
Thank
you
you
were
so
right
much.
about the sandwiches. The food
Very
was
good
so
presentation.
nice.
The food was good. And we snacked all day long. That was even better, right?
Yeah, they took great care of us there.
Yeah, I didn't say that you gained 5 pounds on a TAP program.
Well, we don't need to share that information.
Anyway, good job and good luck with the session in November.
Thank you, Joe.
Thanks, Joe.
All right, you're welcome. Take care.
Joe,
Bye.
I just sent you a LinkedIn request, and then I will
Okay.
add you to the group after
Okay,
this
all right,
call.
thanks. All right, okay, excellent. Thank you.
Thank you.
Take care. Bye.
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 So we still have.
Oh.
Oh, bye.
I think we are
let me
done.
stop.